Come quote a $200,000 job with me. In this video, we're going to be doing a ride around look at 22 buildings at a local university. They need to get all this cleaned up, and it's going to be a huge commercial bid that we're going to be putting in. I videoed the whole thing, so as we're kind of talking through it, you guys are going to see me riding around, and I want to break down some of the good things, some of the bad things, and everything in between with regards to doing large commercial work like this. So we got a call probably a week or two ago on this particular job. We got sent over a packet of information for us to kind of put together a bid, and they were actually doing a bid day where they were taking all the companies who received information on this job to kind of go take a ride around look at the property and get a in-person view of everything that's going on. This particular job was not one that's easy to kind of quote, over the phone. A lot of the times we'll take a look first and foremost over the phone. Now there were some street views and things of that nature, but it's completely different being able to go ride around in person. Also, this is a major university, so there's a ton of student traffic walking around, going from class to class. So the only way for us to kind of get into some of the areas where we could see these buildings were by golf cart and by basically the people that were kind of putting on the bid day, if you will. Now, this is a major university. There was nowhere to park. I'm super happy that I didn't get a ticket. If you guys have ever gone to university or going to a bid day somewhere, you know that they have specific parking places. You got to get an all-day parking pass. Parking is just one of the things that you kind of have to keep in mind whenever you go to one of these things. But the parking situation was fine. Everybody that went out to go quote the property actually got to ride around and take a look. So it was kind of fun being on, one of these carts with some other companies. I actually talked to a bunch of other companies that went to this particular bid day, kind of got a feel for where their business was at, kind of how they were feeling for the project. And so we're going to kind of talk through some of that as well. But if you guys want to learn how we get calls like this, be sure to check out me and Mike's one-on-one coaching. It'll be the first link in the comment section and the description. We can show you exactly how we position and get in front of these big jobs. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking about packing up shop for the winter. They're like, we're going to go take the next 4 months off. But the next 4 months is where you build the foundation. It's where you build your competitive advantage for when the spring comes. So I just want to let you guys know, if you're somebody that's packing up shop, if you're somebody that was thinking about starting this business, but you're like, hey, I'm going to put it off for a little while, or I'm going to put off the business development because I can't actually do any work right now. Probably one of the worst things that you could do, because right now is where you create that competitive advantage and you create the distance between you and your competition, and you set yourself apart from them. So I see too many guys who don't want to invest in themselves, and at what cost? You know what I mean? One piece of information could get you a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, or in this case, multiple six-figure job. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you wouldn't want to do that. So if you're somebody who wants to put yourself in an awesome position for next spring, if you want the highest level coaching, be sure to check out the first link in the comment section description. We'll show you exactly how we position ourselves to get these kind of calls when they do come through. Now, one of the biggest things that surprised me on this quote was all the different companies that weren't even pressure washing companies that were out here doing these quotes. There were roofing companies, there were construction companies, there was painting companies. Now, whenever the university puts out these bids, this is like some public information. We just happen to get a call out on it, but people can go in, and as long as they're, I think, registered with the university, they can see all the bids that are coming up for whatever the university is looking to build. So a ton of different companies out here quoting a pressure washing job when pressure washing is probably not even their mainstay. So it's really not going to be a fair fight when it comes to putting bids in on this. Once we kind of put up our wash resume against all these other companies, especially considering the fact that we've done hospitals, we've done hotels, we've done major historical buildings around Louisiana, and this is basically how you create a competitive advantage for yourself. Over time, you put yourself in places where opportunities can come your way to do monster jobs. You build up your resume. And when it comes to doing a multiple six-figure job like this, you can really set yourself apart because you've put together this body of work that you can use. You can use referrals. You can show them before and afters. You got this whole thing that kind of shows like, hey, this is probably the best company to go with. Now, there are other factors in there. Is the price right where it needs to be? Is the university going to be cool with the way that we want to, take care of things, or the plan that we've put together to kind of take care of the project? So there are some things that can happen in between there, but that's really the key. Where do we have a competitive advantage over the other people that are quoting this job, and how can we press into that? So I know for Mike, he finds his competitive advantage through the questions that he asks, his tonality, his positioning with the decision makers. That's something that we go deep into within that coaching. We actually give you Mike's exact commercial script that he's landed monster jobs with. Now, in this particular scenario, though, there's really no decision makers that we can speak with on site. These were just property managers that were driving us around the property. They are going to take all these bids and then submit them to the higher up. I know that even some of the questions that we were asking when we were doing the cart ride around, the guy couldn't even answer. He's like, oh yeah, you need to go ahead and, report that to Stephanie, or send Stephanie an email. Pretty much every single question that we had that was, outside of his wheelhouse, because at the end of the day, he's not a decision maker. They're just like, hey, we need to find companies to do this job. We need you to ride them around, show them what the property looks like, and direct their questions via email to somebody else. So it's going to be a little bit different for us to kind of position ourselves against the competition when we're riding around with the competition and we're not, talking directly to the decision makers. So like I said, they're going to present the bids to the higher ups. So the only place to kind of create that competitive advantage is through our resume whenever we do send in our bid. But let's also consider some of the downsides of taking jobs like this. There's a lot of red tape that you have to go through. There was like a huge packet that we got whenever we went to go ahead and put in the bid. There's also a huge packet that they sent over before we submitted the bid. So there's a lot of things that they want to make sure that are in place with the company that does the work with regards to the company's credentials, but also the cleaning processes. They're kind of trying to control some of that, controlling some of the chemicals that are put on, controlling the water pressure that's used to rinse the chemicals. There's a lot of different things that come with this job, essentially red tape that the universities kind of put around it to safeguard their property, but also that creates a lot of restrictions for us in the way that we do our job. We can't just go out there and clean these buildings. We have to do it to a certain specificity. So the university wants things done a certain way, completely understandable. It just makes it a little bit harder. There's also high levels of planning and booking things out and scheduling things over the course of the next 6 months. That is also going to prove to be a challenge. This job is over the course of the next 6 months. So, with that being said, there's probably like at least a net 60, maybe a net 90. So you technically wouldn't get paid out on it until 8 months later after doing all that work. At least under my current impression, that's the way it would be. I would assume that once the job is complete, they would pay out on it. Maybe they would choose to pay out in sections. I'm not positive on that, but you just have to look at all the pictures. So there's a lot of things to consider with regards to downside, a lot of red tape, high levels of planning, high levels of communication, and this job will take place over the next 6 months or so. So there's some downsides to this type of work, to landing these monster jobs, but all we can do is the best that we can do. We're going to put in our best bid. We're going to put our best resume on paper and see if it's enough to get the job. Obviously, there are companies competing for this, so I'm sure there's going to be some people that throw in some low bids. I'm sure there's going to be some people that throw in some higher bids. I would imagine that we would probably be on the higher side of the bids, but we'll just have to make it known that, they're looking for quality or the direction that they need to move in. And if not, then we completely understand. But once again, whether we get it or not, at least we got the shot at it. At least we put our best foot forward. So if you don't want to miss out when these calls and these opportunities come through the door, be sure to check out me and Mike's one-on-one coaching. We'll literally put you in the best possible position to land these types of jobs with Mike's commercial script, with all the marketing that we do, with everything that we put in place, with all the groundwork that we lay before these opportunities even present themselves. Because the way that you create luck is prior preparation meeting that opportunity, and that's when oh, he got lucky landing that job. So I'll keep you guys posted on this one. Not sure if we're going to get it or not. Like I said, there's a lot of factors that go into it. However, we did get the call out, which I think is a big win. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video, comment down below monster job and I'll hashtag you're a real one. My name is Justin, forever self-employed. Till next time, hustle hard, get that money, baby. Peace.